Yo, it's Adisa Banjoko, the Bishop of Hip Hop. You're listening to the Dope Science Show with none other than Science Stuff with Steph. Here we go.
This is Jermaine Hughes from Oakland, and I am on the Dope Science Show.
Hi, this is Jeffrey O. Wilson, senior editor at PC Magazine, and you are on the Dope Science Show. Stay tuned for some more dope science.
Hey everyone, this is the Dope Science Show, and I am Tennessee J. Taylor. Excited to be a guest.
Hey, this is Richard Wright, your local rap artist from Los Angeles, and I am here on the Dope Science Show, talking about science and music and other cool things.
My name is One Cool Blurred, or Dr. Paul McNeil, and I'm on the Dope Science Show, where we talk about changing the narrative and making science dope for people of color.
Okay, this is Dave Beck, and I've been on a Dope Science Show with the dopest girl I ever known in my life, San Diego, and her name is, say it again,
Science Stuff with Steph.
Science Stuff with Steph. That's right. She's a great lady, guys. I hope you tune into her show.
My name's Damien Swaby, and I'm here on the Dope Science Show, the best podcast out there today.
Hey there, everybody. This is Maya Anika, visual artist and mental health advocate and speaker of the Spectrum blog, here with Stephanie at the Dope Science Show, and you should be here too. Go Steam!
Yeah! Hey,
All right,
what's
go
up,
ahead.
fellow people? What's up? My name is Natasha Wallington, and you just heard me on the Dope Science Show. Have a good day, y'all.
Awesome!
Hello, welcome to the Dope Science Show with Stephanie Lowe, aka Science Stuff with Steph. Thank you for your ears and minds. I hope that the show sparks new ideas, new opportunities, and conversations. I want us to learn and grow. We are all curious, innovative, and experimental in our daily lives. We are all dope scientists. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. You guys, welcome to the Dope Science Show. Thank you for listening. You guys are the best. I really appreciate your eyes, your ears, your minds. I am so excited because in this episode, I speak to Melissa Mitchell. She's a rapidly rising, prolific abstract painter, textile designer, business owner, and one of the most positive people I have ever followed online. I follow her on Instagram. I'll put her tags at the end of the show in the show notes. And she's just always living her art, being her art, sharing her art, being positive, and she's just awesome. Her art was inspired by her life, including the impact of the early death of her father and finding her spirit afterwards, and you can definitely see that in her work. Her passion for bringing beauty into this world physically and spiritually is life-changing, and she's living a fulfilled life, and I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I wanted to, feel some of that myself, so I hit her up, and it was a great conversation. I end the show talking about the Japanese art of flower arranging, known as ikebana, and its contribution to science and the study of cancer treatments. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, y'all, so let's start the show.
Perfect picture in my eyes, girl, you are picture perfect. Perfect picture, yes you are.
It's fine, Tigger. Listen, if you must know, girl, you my experiment. Your body is a canvas, and I'm a hitter with long brush strokes. Gotta call in my name. I ain't formally trained, I'm just drawing from experience. Worth more than millions. Holla if you feeling it. Real love that takes care of all of your needs. So beautiful, you fall to your knees in an instant, like it was a Rembrandt or a Matisse. Cause there's nothing like the new freedom of two beings being in love. You see them holding hands broad daylight, 2 p.m. A perfect portrait that's worthy of a museum. I can't call it conclusion, I can't draw it. Can't understand why so many still heartless, trying to find imperfections in the Mona Lisa. Even if you find one, baby, it's still flawless. Check me out.
Couldn't draw you better. better, baby. One time. I could enjoy you better, baby. Yeah. I could enjoy you better, baby. One time. I could enjoy you better, baby.
Thank you, Melissa, so much for coming to the show. I really wanted to take some time to hear a bit more about what you do and what inspires you. I found you on Instagram, and I was really blown away by like your passion that came through with your art and your colors, you know, and the patterns. It was really striking and very unique. I felt like I had seen it before, but not. It felt familiar, but at the same time very unique, if that makes sense. And so I just wanted to reach out to hear about what inspires you as an artist, just some of the things that you're doing as far as your marketing, which is super impressive. So there's a lot. So anyway.
Okay.
To start it, I do want to ask you something that hopefully a little bit, I'm not sure if anyone's ever asked you this, but since you're so into colors, I was wondering, what comes to mind when I say the word red? Like, what thought comes to mind?
Red to me is a powerful color, and it's also very rebellious. I remember my grandmother saying only a real woman could wear the color red on her toes. So as a child, I always, associated red with honey. Well, if I'm wearing red, I'm a rebel. So as soon as I got of age, I was like, I want every toe red. I want my nails red. I want red lipstick. I want red everything. So red to me is a very powerful and rebellious color.
Beautiful. I have a couple more. What about green? What comes to mind when you say green?
Well, you know what green means to me. Green is a twofold. It to me, of course, means money. And when I say money, not just like in a superficial way, just money itself. When I, thinking about green, it just pushes me to hustle. When I see green, I'm like, ooh, let me get to it. It makes me want to go. I think about, because, green is the color of chlorophyll. It's nourishment. It's the earth. It's very, I don't know, it's a part of who you are. It's kind of like foundation when I think of green.
Like nature, like life.
Yeah.
All right. And then one more. Yellow is my favorite color right now. What do you think about yellow?
Yellow makes me happy. Yellow. Even when I say the word yellow, I'm like smiling. And I'm like, oh, I love yellow. Yellow is very bright, it's very playful, but can also be very powerful. When I think of yellow, I think of the sun. So, I like yellow a lot.
I like yellow a lot. It's new to me, only because I used to kind of just play it safe with dark colors like navy or black, and more recently I've been using more colors and never worn yellow, but I have been, I'm not religious, but I've been interested in it intrigues me as far as spiritual energy, that intrigues me. And so I was like, well, let me discover a little bit more about African religion. And so I have heard about Oshun, which is an African goddess. You sound like you're familiar. And her color is yellow. So I've been like, okay, I want to feel the power of yellow.
Well, with Beyonce coming out with Lemonade, a lot of people associated with that with Oshun in the video, where she's kind of walking around with the bat in the yellow dress. And if you look at some of the old ancient depictions of Oshun, it's almost like saying, oh, if you take the H out, it's old sun, So it's yellow. It's think of power and liberation now that we've had Lemonade. So all those things considered, that definitely is a part of that.
Yeah, I think so. I had been exploring it a little bit, but the video brought it to the forefront where I was like, you keep seeing something, you keep thinking of something, and then now it's. Have you noticed once you get into something, and then you see it everywhere? So
of course, like it's like once you get because when I first got an Acura truck, I said, "Ooh, I don't ever see those around." Now I can barely get in the parking lot when I get in the wrong car. I was like, "There are no black Acura here again." Like it's always showing up. So I definitely can attest to that.
Exactly. I was going to be Ocean for Halloween with the bat, but I wasn't sure because I know a lot of people do it, but at the same time, I wasn't sure because it's an actual religion. So I was thinking, is it, appropriation? Would it be, disrespectful?
I think it's all about your audience, and then I'm big on just doing what you want to do. I'm beyond the whole what people think and what people how people feel. If it makes me feel good, I'm probably gonna go with that. So I would say rock it out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm like, I think so because I was thinking, well, at the very least, for me, it means something. It's self-exploratory, and by being in costume, then I would expose more people to the concept and idea of it because I would have to explain it. It'd be one of those costumes, maybe not to black people if they watch Lemonade, but to everybody else. I'm like, oh, so this is what that is. But I just wanted to ask you some random questions to start because I'm learning how to interview people, and I read that, especially if you go on a lot of interviews, you kind of get the same questions over and over.
Yeah, that was a good way to kind of, not say throw me off, but kind of like, oh, I never got that question. So yeah, especially as a painter, I have been drawn to certain colors, and of course my favorite three colors, and it's always a three-way tie between orange, pink, and yellow. But when I paint, I've been picking up turquoise and blue a lot, and blue is water, it's fluid, it's movement, and probably 80% of my paintings have blue in it. I'm looking in my room right now, like all of them have blue in it. Every single one has blue except one. So yeah, it's pretty, blue or turquoise or something very earthy. Not earthy in the sense of like water. And I guess because water to me means movement and liberated, and water kind of does its own thing. And people underestimate the power of water. So it's kind of like me. People are like, oh yeah, she paints, but everybody that looks at my paintings gets kind of lost in it, and I think it's unexpected for them.
Yeah, I could see that, especially your murals, and I can imagine, I saw on your website, which is dope, by the way. I really love your website.
Thank you.
I was looking at it, and I just felt like it was an experience, and very unique, and you definitely got the vibe with the music and just the flow of everything. Did you design it yourself?
Yeah, I design everything I've done. I've designed myself, and I literally pull from music and just from, I guess, just life. However I'm feeling at the time, I kind of go from there, and then I just,
Yeah, well, you did it. I could feel it. It felt really good. I was like, I definitely felt inspired because I'm developing a website, but I'm not very good at taking my emotions and turning it into some sort of visual. I'm not really good at like translating my emotions into like a visual thing. I'm kind of abstract, and so if anything, it's just like, oh, here's a splash of color and there's some texture or something like that. But I don't know how to translate that into a website, so I'm still trying to figure it out.
Okay.
But definitely, I did see on your website that you had painted the interior of this guy's apartment, and in just like one day, and you felt, you walked into it feeling exhausted, but because of the power of art, it's like you just go into like the zone, and it made me think of a trance. It made me think of how. Maybe not, I want to say ancient cultures, but maybe even some other, spiritual cultures that were, trance and art is part of like their, their religious or spiritual experience. That's what it reminded me of when you said that, you just go into the zone.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I definitely think I definitely think that art is transformative emotionally. It allows you to pour happiness, sadness, anger, all those different emotions. You can put it on the different canvases. So, you know, depending on what mood I'm in, my pieces kind of reflect that. You know, I'm probably 65% happy every time I paint, but sometimes I might be sad, or maybe a little bit of toggling on depression, or just like a frustration, you know. And I was like, you know, I'm going to make me some money. I'm going to paint. You know, I'm going to do this. Like, paint has become my safe haven. And I used the alliteration earlier. Well, not alliteration, the analogy of where paint has become my balm in a dry place, where I didn't really see, like, you know, what my purpose was, or what am I supposed to be doing? What am I going to leave on the earth? And painting became that beacon. So yeah, you know, it's just one of those things where you don't know you need it until you actually get it.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I know what you mean. I feel that way about science, and it's funny because I was not into science growing up. You know, I just didn't really connect with it. It wasn't in the forefront of my thoughts, you know. And when I did experience science, I often felt that it was boring and stunted. But as in my adult life, I got into personal development and things like, you know, the law of attraction and just different ideas about the power of your mind and intention and vision. And with that type of like empowerment, I walked into a career center and I saw a flyer that they were hiring for nuclear plant operators, and they would train you. And from my perspective, I had never passed a math class the first time around. You know, I'm just like, but I'm really good at cramming. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Because I was like, they'll pay for it. If I get it, it had, you know, a six-figure salary. I'm like, I'm going for it. And I got in, and it was incredibly challenging. You know, one of the hardest things I've ever experienced in my life. But in that journey or that process, I discovered that I love science because it gave me a creative outlet. And how did it become creative? It was like, every time I learned something new, it led me on a new path of thought, and like, you know, it just really kept my mind active, and it was my escape. And so for me, like, science and talking about it is like my art. If that makes any sense.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I try to connect with people to find, you know, their art within them, as whether that be their love for science and just whatever their creative power is. Because I see science as creative. Because you have to. Are you into science fiction or anything like that, or what's your relationship with science?
The extent of my science fiction asphyxiation would be more so like Star Wars, some Star Trek. I mean, I like the science of like food. Like, I watch the Food Network, but I like the what is his name? Alton Brown. He does, like, you know, the real, like, he really talks about like how brownies are made, but like why you use baking soda versus baking powder. So like, I enjoy knowing the art behind like cooking and with how science relates to that. So in that regard, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's like everyday science, you know, and that's intriguing. And it's cool when people are actually aware of their surroundings and how things work, you know. So that's kind of what science feels for me.
Go
What would you say in regards to? I know I'm kind of rambling. Sometimes I do that. So if you want, I have notes. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to that. Let me ask you a quick question in regards to, what is your inspiration for, your style? How did you develop, like, what became your creative output?
I guess it's just, I just went with it. Whatever I felt like doing, I just kind of perfected that over time. But I didn't, I don't know. I didn't even know what I was doing was a style, I kind of just did it and then realized, hey, there's more people doing the same thing I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really realize it was a name for it, and I really still don't really know what kind of, I just call it like abstract, because, you really can't put it in a box. But, I just went with it, and it felt good, and so I just said, well, what if I do this? What if I do that? And I kind of just went there, because I never really consider myself an artist. I just consider myself as creative. So, so I'm just going with it.
When you run with it, does that apply to other aspects of your life? Like, for instance...
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, do you see your art as an extension of yourself, or are they separate?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, even when I go out, people are like, what do you do? Like, they're automatically drawn to me, like, what's her story? What do you do in my artwork? It looks like me. Even when I stand in a room, people may not know I'm the artist. Like, wow, you look like that thing over there. Like, they can't really put their finger on it, but it's like, wow, like, you look like that over there, And so I leave a little bit of myself in each piece, so it naturally becomes who I am, So it definitely is a direct reflection of who I am. So
I see that in your clothing. Are you also printing some of your? Are you creating prints of your art? I see you have head wraps, and it looks like dresses and things.
I haven't. I haven't. Like that. I've been finding things that look like my art, so I'm naturally drawn to anything that reminds me of what I already own. What I create. But eventually I want to just become a textile guru. Like, I need to call Melissa because I want something this, Yeah, so just things like that. I want art to extend beyond just the canvas. Yeah.
You want art to extend beyond the what? I'm sorry.
Beyond the canvas. Like, I don't want to just be considered an artist that paints. Like, I want to be a creator. Somebody that's creative that creates. Yeah. So. Yep.
Okay. And do you think it'll always be your visual art, or are you a writer, or do you have? It just looks like you have a lot of creative.
I'm a singer. I'm a writer. I dabble maybe a little dancing in there. I mean, I do some everything. So, I just think that art was the last thing that I had to do on my creative list, and it just ended up like, wow, that's what I need to do as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really, really cool. I'm still trying to discover my creative aspect, but I do feel like everyone has it. You just have to explore and see, what speaks to you,
Yeah.
Definitely. I was reading that, I was trying to do some research on art and just neurology, and I read an article about, they were saying that babies between the age of 5 and 7 months, they can categorize colors before they can speak. So it's like, even on a neurological level, like, there's something like primal about colors that we recognize,
Yeah, it's something, I'm telling you, I mean, I believe that colors definitely give off powers, and, selecting certain colors definitely, it says something subconsciously about you. You may not even know you're saying something by choosing the same colors over and over again. You just never know. So
I can see that, definitely. I also find that what we know innately as, like, people, I feel like science is always right behind, us. They're behind it's like, I feel like science is always chasing the why and taking apart things to try to categorize it and explain it, and what already exists. Like you say, you have this feeling about colors and energy, and I've heard other people say that, and then we will see in the next 10 years or whatever, science will be validating that or exploring it, you know? Do you have any projects that you're working on that you'd want to share or anything like in particular?
I'm just preparing. I have a show this weekend I'm working on with it's a group called Moving Art Atlanta, and so we are going to combine artwork with we're combining artwork with people that do yoga. So it's all the yogis are going to get painted based upon different orishas. So you mentioned Oshun. I'm actually doing Oshumare and Isu. And so Oshumare is like it's almost like the rainbow goddess. And well, they really don't know if it's male or female, but I just call it a goddess. I'm actually painting a woman. And so with this one, she's a rainbow goddess. And so she is the person that's kind of responsible for the lineup of the chakras and the rainbow, the rainbow like colors, like the purple, the blue, like the way it's lined up. And so people attribute that to the Oshumare. So I'm painting her on my model, my yogi, on Saturday.
Oh, so you're doing a body painting?
Yeah, I'm doing body painting. So they're my canvas for the day.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw you did body painting with your friend and she was pregnant.
Yes, I did.
That was so beautiful.
Yeah,
that was
so
beautiful.
Yeah, she just wanted to. She didn't want to do it typical. She's a photographer. She's a photographer, so she wanted something kind of out of the ordinary. She wanted to do the typical little girl. So she's having a girl. So she's like, she felt like a queen because she had a son for so long. He's like 10. So she's like, she wants to really welcome a queen like a queen should. And so that's how we ended up with that. With that kind of theme.
I see that, definitely. What do you feel about, what do you feel about the concept of STEM versus STEAM? That's a hot topic that I hear, and I'm assuming you're going to be a proponent for STEAM because,
of course. I actually used to write grants for STEAM schools, for charter schools. I just think that art has to be a part of the way that kids think because it almost tricks kids into learning every aspect of every subject. Between English, writing, science, math, all of that can be hidden subliminally in artwork. And when kids wake up the creative part of their brains, it allows them to learn a little bit differently. So I think it's a necessary entity for kids, for sure.
Definitely. I agree. I totally, because for me, I feel like it's like you were saying, and you could say it tricks them. For me, I feel it's like a bridge as well because a lot of people of color and women are underrepresented in like STEM.
Oh yeah,
in general. So it's like that is, and it's usually because of stereotypes or they just don't have any mentors or anyone that they relate to who they've seen, succeed in that. And so they just think they can. And when you have, I feel like STEAM creates a bridge, where they feel like they can take a step in that direction because it's, they can bring their art, they can bring their creativity, even if they're not necessarily coming from a background that normally would be exposed to STEM. Like, I feel like it's a bridge. And people of color and women, I mean, our stereotypes are, we are more creative, we are more artistic, and stereotypes are not inherently wrong, but they don't need to always be true. I really want to change the narrative where we're going to say people of color and women are scientists, or we're doctors, and that's the new stereotype or norm, That would be great. You said you write grants for STEAM. Do you work for a nonprofit?
I did about 5 years ago. I did for it was a school that managed school enhancement. Like they came in. Like say your school was failing in any area, our program, our company would come in and it's kind of like an education reform company where they get you better grants, they teach you better curriculum strategies, train your teachers, that kind of stuff. So it was that kind of company. So yeah, I did that years ago.
Well, that's cool. At least I used to work in education too, and I would like to do that again in the future, say maybe when I'm older. Well, that'll be my retirement plan, be a teacher.
Yeah.
But it's good that, you know, at least you can say that you've contributed to
I did my
a
part.
legacy. Yeah, exactly. You did your part. Definitely. I saw that that you have, I think you're a third generation college graduate.
Well, Rattler for a particular school. Yeah, we all went to FAMU, the school that I actually went through this weekend. So yeah.
And your family's from the Bahamas?
Yeah, Bahamas.
I would say, do you feel like there's I feel like there's a class divide between people who are gone to college year after year versus someone who's never attended college. Like, what advice would you give to someone who's, you know, maybe they want to follow in your footsteps? Like, did your parents just expect you to go to college, or did you have a mentor?
I think that college for me was bigger than education. I think my network and kind of my character development really came into play when I went to school. So I think college, people think of it as, oh, you know, they don't want to be a part of like a formalized education. But for me, it was to follow family tradition, to have, you know, additional conversations that make you, and commonalities within my family. And I just think overall going to college really, it's like I don't want to just jump into adulthood, like come out of high school and then now I'm paying bills. Like I think that college is more than just getting an education. You know, I just think it's a good way to become who you're supposed to be. And you have a lot of life experiences without like your family being your narrator or, you know, your parents being there. You don't need to do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like it really helps you learn, hey, this is what I really learned from my parents or growing up, and now I get to be the person that I want to be. But yeah, you know, college isn't necessarily for everyone, but I think that you don't really know until you give it a try. People just rule it out automatically because they think it's just this whole formalized thing, but it might be a good place for somebody just searching for, you know, their true self, if that makes any sense.
Definitely. And what college did you attend?
I went to Florida A&M University. Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. We call it FAMU for short, but yeah, FAMU.
Oh, okay. FAMU?
FAMU. Mm-hmm.
Cool. I am so jealous of people who've gone to historically black colleges. I am. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you do.
And I should be jealous. I was like, I should go back and get my master's just so I can go to one. I'm seriously considering that.
It's worth a go back. I'm like 15 years out. I've been out of school. Let me see, 12 years. I've been out of college, but yeah, I mean, it definitely was a life-changing experience.
Yeah, and some of the historically black colleges put out the most like doctors and scientists and just the professional
degrees. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What would you say in regards to, like, what kind of financial aid do they, is it provided for you? Was it mostly loans? Or, because I know, like, with the state schools.
I actually went to school as a science student. I was going into, what kind of science? Was it environmental science? I forgot the kind, but they wanted me to, I never forget it, they wanted me to go to a viticulture lab that required us to, like, walk in like this whole grape pit, like with different grapes, and so we were pretty much going to make wine. And I was like, is that part of like the program? Are we going to do this? He's like, yeah, this is, you know, pretty much like getting to character by being. And I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. And I changed my major to public relations that same day.
Why? You didn't want to be out in the field?
No, it just felt really slavery-like to me, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to really be my true self.
Okay.
I mean, just for me, my personality is so big, I didn't want to be, first I didn't want to be outside, that was a huge issue. And secondly, I just felt like I was only in it for the scholarship money and not really because of passion, and so that same day I changed my major. I just felt like it wasn't who I wanted to be, and I'm glad that I made that decision that same day.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's the overall like vibe I get from you. It's like you live in your true self, or you strive to stay in touch with your true self. Have you always been that way?
Probably, most of my life. I just try not to worry about like what everybody's saying. Like, oh, you need to do this, like you need to do that. I'm like, girl, I'm not doing that. Like, I'll just decide. Even if I'm like, I've done the crazy thing. Like, I'll be on a ride at a amusement park, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm leaving. They're like, wait a minute, you being lying? I said, yeah, I'm just not doing it. I don't want to do it, and I'll just leave. They're like, you are crazy. I was like, yeah, I'm not feeling this anymore, and I'll leave. Like, I'm totally okay with like disappointing people or whatever I got to do. Like, I'd rather not disappoint myself than disappoint other people. So
that's the best. What do you feel about just? I feel like I already know this answer, but hey, maybe I don't. What? So I can assume that you're not afraid to ask for something. You're not afraid to step up and say, hey, pitch yourself, to people.
No, I'm not. I think that we all should be our own greatest salesperson. And so nobody knows me like me, and nobody can sell you me like I can. So, I can't be afraid to tell my truth or to live in my truth or to explain my truth. I have to be willing to be like, hey, this is who I am, love it or leave it, but this is how I feel, And I kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm usually pretty vocal about what I like and what I don't like, or who I am.
What do you feel about being an artist and being a brand? Everyone has to, like you're saying, self-promote yourself. We have to have Instagrams. They're curated. Do you ever feel like you lose touch with who you are as an artist because you're trying to? Do you ever feel like you're trying to commercialize, your art so that it appeals?
No. I've come to the grip that, everybody likes what they like, and if you like my art, it's going to be who I am, and I'm going to always give you my truth. So, I just think that, like, every day I try to post 10 to 15 things, whether it be something motivational, whether it be just a picture of me in my head wrap or just a picture of me as a child, things that motivate me. So I'm not just selling you my art, I'm selling you my story. And so I try to be as authentic. Like, the days I just really want to be laid up with a dude, I'm like, oh, I miss Bay, so I'll put something up that indicates that. But the next day I could be super motivated, and God is great, So I try to give as much as I can without giving my all. So, yeah, I don't feel any pressure at all to be more or less of anything.
Well, that's good. I try not to feel that way. Because you're putting yourself out there, and I also have the mindset of whoever likes you. If you got their eyes, you got their eyes, and there's and I don't care so much about how many followers I may or may not have either, because it's more about engagement. I would say, like, people who really give you, especially with like the robots and fake fault, there's automated like programs where people follow you and they're not even, looking at you. So it's a weird world we live in. The digital world and the real life it's a merging thing. It's got opportunities. I would have never spoken to you if I didn't have Instagram access, but at the same time, it comes with its, I don't know, oddity.
Yeah,
definitely. But I really appreciate your time, and I really think like I would like to talk to you more or work with you more in the future in regards to maybe I have an idea of doing like a collection, because I really want to be able to convey the Dope Science Show as far as what we're trying to do and just the different stories and voices. And so I want to collaborate with different artists and put together like a lookbook of different artistic styles. So I'm not going to put you on the spot while you're on the show, but you're on my short list of people that I would like to, collaborate with in that regard. Okay. So if you're open to it, I'll give you more information later. And
sure.
Yeah, I really think that would be cool. what was I going to say? Where can people find you if they want to find you online?
Well, they can find me at melissaAmitchell.com, and you can follow my lovely, vibrant story at ABL Creations on Instagram. And the spelling of that is ABEILLE Creations, CREATIONS. And the story behind ABL Creations, people are like, what does that mean? Melissa actually means honeybee in Arabic, and ABL means honeybee in French. So I had always had an international view of how I would take over the world, and so I wanted a name that would do well in different markets, and so I chose ABL. So that's where you have ABL Creations. So that's me. You can find me on my website and on my Instagram page. So I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you all.
That's dope. And I love to put together like a soundtrack for every episode. So give me 3 songs that you'd want to have on this episode.
Oh, goodness. Let me think. It's funny. I was just listening to Angel by Anita Baker. That is one song. And then there's another one called Picture Perfect by Eric Robertson. And then there is, this is hard. I got to choose just 3. Let me think. There is, I'm trying to look it up right now. There's another song called, the third one is going to be hard. Let me think. Let me find one real quick. Give me.
No problem.
You said what now? You can.
I said no problem.
What's the name of that song? Let's just do Love Song by King. Yeah.
Love Song by King.
It's called Love Song. Yeah. So those are 3 different extremes. You got Angel by Anita Baker, Picture Perfect by Eric Robertson, and Love Song by King. Yeah. That works. And if you did a bonus track, you could put Boo Boo by us for us by us.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. I listened to the album twice the other day. I was late to the game. I was like a week later.
Yeah, I had to stop. I was like, I'm going to burn a hole in this. Let me just back up for a few seconds, and then I'll come back. But, yeah, it's a pretty relevant soundtrack for what we have going on right now.
Definitely. Yeah. She's amazing. I really appreciate what she does. Just her sound and her boldness with, her message. She's not, like, sugarcoating anything.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I'm going to probably say goodnight because I know it's later there and you got to go to work and stuff. But could you say your name and that you're on the Dope Science Show, and then you can ad-lib anything you want?
Okay. Well, my name is Melissa A. Mitchell, and it's been a pleasure and an honor to be a guest on tonight's Dope Science Show. And I think that it's a beautiful thing that when people find their passion and pursue it effortlessly and fearlessly. And I hope that tonight encourage you to find something that's outside of your comfort zone and making it your own. So have a great day and go be inspired.
Yeah!
All right.
All right. Well, I hope you sleep well and you have a great day tomorrow. And I appreciate your time. I'll put everything in the show notes as far as your links.
Okay, can't wait to hear about it. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
So we're talking all this art talk, and I'm constantly, it's not that hard, but I'm always trying to look for a link to art and creativity and science. I just have this obsession with it. So I was like, let me look up this article on art and science. Let me see what I find. So I found this really cool article from December 5th, 2016. It is called Traditional Japanese Art Inspires a Futuristic Innovation. Brain Organoids. You guys know I love organoids, right? I did a video about organoids. I will go more into a little bit about what an organoid is in case you don't know. The source, I found this on ScienceDaily.com. The source is University of British Columbia. In summary, the ancient Japanese art of flower arranging was the inspiration for a groundbreaking technique to create tiny artificial brains, mini brains, yep, that could be used to develop personalized cancer treatments. The organoids, clusters of thousands of human brain cells, cannot perform a basic brain function, much less generate thought, but they provide a far more authentic model, the first of its kind, for studying how brain tumors grow and how they can be stopped. This puts the tumor within the context of a brain instead of just a flat, like, petri dish or something. Christian Nas, a professor in the Department of Cellular and Physiological Sciences, who conceived the project with a Japanese company that specializes in bioprinting. He shared details about the technique at November's annual Society for Neuroscience conference in San Diego. What? I didn't know they had this. I'm gonna have to put this in my calendar. I'm like, I should be there. Hopefully it's not super expensive. Maybe I can get like a sponsor or something. See, man, things need to be free. Alright, back to the article. When cells grow in 3 dimensions instead of 2, adhering only to each other and not to plastic, an entirely different set of genes are activated. Okay? So, the researcher studied glioblastoma, a particularly aggressive brain cancer that usually takes root deep inside the brain and usually spreads quickly. The standard care is surgery, followed by radiation or chemotherapy. But gliomas, I think that's how you say it, Gliomas. You guys can tweet me and help and correct me. You know I need help. Almost always return because a few malignant cells manage to leave the tumor and invade surrounding brain tissue. You guys can definitely look up the article because I'm not the best reader. Not out loud. From the time of diagnosis, average survival is 1 year. The idea for creating a more authentic model of glioblastoma originated when the researcher partnered with a Japanese biotechnology company, Cyfus, that has developed a particular technique for printing human tissues based on the Japanese art of flower arranging known as ikebana. In ikebana, artists use a heavy plate with brass needles sticking up, upon which the stems of flowers are attached. Cyfus's bioprinting technique uses a much smaller plate covered with microneedles. So this is how art has inspired science recently. So what they did, this science team, Nas and research associate Lee Chin-sing, Kaori Harada of Cyfus, they skewered small spheres of human neural stem cells on the microneedles. As the stem cells multiplied and divided into brain tissue, they merged and formed larger structures known as organoids, about 2 millimeters to 3 millimeters in diameter. Although the organoids lack blood vessels, they are small enough to allow oxygen and nutrients to permeate the tissue. So even though they don't have blood vessels, they still are able to absorb like oxygen and nutrients. Kind of like a sponge, like your skin, will just take in like that lotion or things that can pass through your skin cells. The cells make their own environment, they said. We're not doing anything except printing them, and then they self-assemble together, so they just already know what to do. The team then implanted cancerous glioma cells inside the organoids. So then they put these cancer cells inside the organoids and found that the gliomas, or cancer cells, spread into the surrounding normal cells. Having shown that the tumor invades the surrounding tissue, Nas envisions that such a technique can be used with a patient's own cells, both their normal brain cells and their cancer cells, to grow a personalized organoid with a glioma at its core, and then test a variety of possible drugs or combinations of treatment to see if any of them stop the cancer from growing and invading. So basically, they're like, if we can make a personal organoid for each patient, then we can do these lab experiments with different drugs and treatments to see how your particular cancer and your particular brain cells will react, instead of doing this on your whole body, you know. With this method, they said, we can easily and authentically replicate a model of the patient's brain, or at least some of the conditions under which a tumor grows in that brain. Then we could feasibly test hundreds of different chemical combinations on that patient's cells to identify a drug combination that shows the most promising result, giving you a personalized therapy for brain cancer patients. Interesting. Man, should I edit more? Should I write more? Or are you guys cool with me just reading articles? Because I read articles all the time. And a lot of times, I just don't have time to rewrite them. I'm like, can't I just source them, read them, and then talk about them? You guys, I ramble. But, yeah. So, I really, really hope you guys enjoyed the show. And I will talk to you soon. Hit me up. I say this all the time. And one day it will happen. There's a few of you guys who do that. You guys say, hey, what's up? I love the show. And you comment. And I'm like, yes! You guys are the best. And I gotta do better. Because I'm like, I have to do better. I have to inspire you to do better. I have to beg for it. Alright, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your week. Talk to you soon.